Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. We just hit 49.4k subscribers. Let's try to get to 50k by election day. Please like this video down below and subscribe to the channel. But before we get started, I have to tell you guys about my friends over at My Patriot Supply. Friends, we're fast approaching what many believe to be the true second wave of COVID-19. This may be even worse than the first. On top of that, our nation's political uncertainty and civil unrest will impact every area of your life. Are you ready? Another round of quarantines and shortages may be on the way. Those who know what's coming are using today to prepare for the worst. That's why I strongly recommend My Patriot Supply, the only source I personally use and trust for my emergency food preparedness plan, and you can too. Right now, save $100 off a full 4-week supply of nutritious meals that supply 2,000 calories a day to save your life when panic or disaster hits and when food disappears again from your local grocery store. Saving $100 is impossible to pass up, especially now. So go to preparewithreadygoal.com and get ready now. That's preparewithreadygoal.com. There's no time to lose, no time to waste. Do it now. And today we have to talk about the vice presidential debate because that was some debate last night, and I do have a couple of takeaways. Actually, I got 5 takeaways for you. I will be doing some more predictions. Tomorrow, I believe I will be doing a video analyzing the current rates of mail-in ballot returns. Is Donald Trump going to have a shot in this election? It's going to hinge on Florida, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. We're going to be going through each one of those states and analyzing the mail-in ballot returns. Is Trump where he needs to be in order to win the election on election day? We're going to be covering that. But that was some debate last night. And you know my take on this if you follow me on Twitter. And I basically said that Mike Pence went out there and won. He won the debate fairly convincingly. I don't care what some CNN poll says. I don't think you guys care either. Mike Pence went out there. He was cool. He was calm. He was collected. He was the nice guy. The media is going to do everything they can to spin it otherwise, but that's not going to change the facts from what they actually are. And this brings us to take one. The media's reaction shows that Mike Pence won. The fact that they're so focused on a fly that landed on his head, the fact that they are so focused on the fact that he was so-called mansplaining, which is absolutely a ridiculous thing to say that he did. Mike Pence went out there and he congratulated Kamala Harris on her historic achievement of being one of the first women and the first minority women on a presidential ticket. However, that didn't stop our media from sitting there and race baiting and sex baiting, and that's what they do as a defense mechanism. That's what they do when they're losing. That's how you know Mike Pence did well. He did well on policy. He grilled her. He had a couple of good one-liners saying you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Mike Pence did a great job, but the media doesn't care. I'm sure in CNN's poll, they oversample Democrats by a ridiculous margin. Every online poll, even on some liberal websites, showed that Mike Pence was doing fairly well, much better than what you saw in Trump's debate. And I'll call it like I see it. The last debate was sloppy. Trump and Biden roughly had a tie, which is expected, as usual, because incumbent presidents do typically do worse in their first debate. Look at Obama in 2012. Look at Bush in 2004 for some examples. But anyways, if you watch that debate, you knew that Mike Pence won that debate. Kamala Harris tried to get by with these condescending facial expressions and her very obnoxious personality that just does not sit well with a whole lot of people. And when she's called out on it, she will say you are a racist, you are a sexist, because apparently you cannot criticize somebody who is a minority or a female in this day and age. It's ridiculous. But again, Mike Pence went out there, he won the debate, but the media is going to do everything they possibly can do to spin it otherwise. The second takeaway that I have of this debate was that there was a ton of pivoting. A lot of pivoting took place in this debate, and that really just goes without saying. There was a lot of pivoting, and most of it came from Kamala Harris. Pence did pivot. He pivoted a little bit on healthcare, a little bit on abortion, but I think it worked out more effectively. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden not answering the questions. She did not answer the court packing question. Most Americans, including Ruth Bader Ginsburg, did not want a packed Supreme Court. The fact that Biden and Harris would go in there and pack the court, that's an egregious power grab that a lot of Americans, even some people on the center left, would not exactly be okay with. But the bottom line is that they could easily just answer the question and put it behind them, be upfront and say they're not doing it. And if they weren't doing it, they should just say that they're not doing it. But why are they not exactly saying it? It leads me to believe that there is some sort of ulterior motive going on here. And also, when it comes down to the tax cuts, Biden and Harris said they would repeal the Trump tax cuts. They've also said that they would raise taxes on anyone making just over $400,000 a year. So Mike Pence asked a good question because everyone wants to know the answer to this. Are they planning to repeal the tax cuts in full, or just for people making over $400,000 a year? Harris could have clearly answered the question, but instead she didn't, and she just pivoted to something else. It's ridiculous. It's just insane. The American people want to know, and they weren't exactly getting the answers that they needed on that question. Now, my third takeaway is from the moderator. I think everyone, whether they were on the right, the center, or the left, thought that Susan Page did a terrible, terrible job moderating the debate. I think that the questions were abysmal. The fact that one of the better questions came from an 8th grader tells you about how bad the rest of the questions are. Again, she didn't really have that much of a control over the debate, and it kind of shows that the moderators in this day and age kind of do a very poor job at moderating the debates, especially when it's a one-on-one debate. If it's like the 10-candidate debate, it's kind of a little bit more relaxed. But the one-on-one debates, you saw this in 2016, you see it more so in 2020. Moderators do not have a good control over the debate anymore, and it's kind of a sad thing to see. Now, my fourth takeaway from this is that Kamala Harris proves once again to be a psychopathic liar. The left likes to say Trump tells X amount of false statements. They don't exactly like to analyze how many false statements their own have told, and Kamala Harris told a lot of big false statements in this debate, ranging from the Fine People hoax, which she was called out on by Mike Pence. That was a very good thing that Mike Pence decided to call her out on it, but also the fact that she mentioned that she doesn't want to ban fracking when we actually have video of her and Joe Biden saying they want to ban fracking. Take a listen.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those, any fossil fuel.
Like what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping new pipeline infrastructure and
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah.
To a boom in oil and natural gas production. As president, would you be willing to sacrifice some of that growth, even knowing potentially that it could displace thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning to that greener economy?
The answer is yes.
So again, you can see lies after lies were told by Kamala Harris in this debate. And also, once again, they are peddling the fake news story from The Atlantic that even John Bolton, of all people, said was fake news, and that no serious person, actually no person who is not anonymous, has basically said that this story was actually true. The story about Donald Trump saying terrible, terrible things to veterans while standing at their graves. And the moderator, Susan Page, would not exactly let Mike Pence respond to that. Absolutely nonsense, more bias coming from the mainstream media, as you see here, and they're doing everything possible. And if Biden was really up by 10 percentage points, I really highly doubt that they would be pulling these antics because Biden would have the race locked up, but that's not true. They're throwing desperation shot after desperation shot. We'll wait and see on Election Day. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it does not seem like Joe Biden is up by 10 points right now. And I think even a lot of people on the left would agree that no matter what, it's going to be a close election. So speaking about elections, it's time to get to my fifth and final takeaway of the VP debate, and that is this a potential 2024 matchup? Because a lot of people saw Mike Pence in 2016 when he was debating. A lot of people in the media said, okay, Trump's going to lose, but Mike Pence is going to be the Republican nominee in 2020 because that's what he's vying for. There was even some early primary polling for 2020 on the Republican side back in October of 2016 that had Mike Pence up by a big margin as well. So a lot of people would speculate maybe if Kamala Harris and Joe Biden end up losing, Kamala will be one of the frontrunners for 2024, obviously mixed in there with people like Gavin Newsom, Andrew Cuomo, among many others. And Mike Pence very well could pull a Al Gore if Donald Trump wins, or pull a Mondale if Donald Trump loses, and be the Republican nominee. And in that instance, Kamala Harris would probably have taken over for Joe Biden, which is very plausible at this point, and will have been the Democratic nominee for 2024, which is what I expect to happen if Joe Biden does actually win the election. And Kamala Harris would be an extremely vulnerable incumbent if that was the case, if she did take over for Biden. She is so unlikable, and the fact that the first woman president would not have actually been elected outright to the highest office, that doesn't sit well with a whole lot of Americans, and she's just insufferable. She may even be more unlikable and condescending than Hillary Clinton. San Francisco elitist, just absolutely a turnoff to middle America. And if Donald Trump wins, I think he can thank Joe Biden for picking Kamala Harris as his running mate. As for Mike Pence, I do have policy grievances with him, but he kind of proved himself as a legitimate contender last night. He can go face to face with the big dogs and kill them with kindness. That's exactly what he did during the debate. Mike Pence did a phenomenal job last night. Absolutely. Would he be my first choice in 2024? No, but if he was the nominee, yes, I'd vote for him. So those are my 5 takeaways, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media, become a member, donate to the Patreon or subscribe, star links in description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.